Hey YouTube, Sam here. One more project here. Quite honestly, this project is going to be more learning why you shouldn't let a car sit for a long period of time. Alright, well, here's a real big lesson learned on this Volkswagen here, especially if you have a Volkswagen, that they already have problems with rusting through the floors. When you leave cars sitting, don't leave the batteries in. I know better than this, most people know better than this, but yet it seems to happen a lot. Case in point, I also left it in my Mustang, which I have since taken it out. But unfortunately there is a little bit of rust down in there because of it. That could already been there, I don't know. It's not too bad, I can fix it. Hopefully there's no holes in the floor underneath all this, but this battery has obviously leached out some and got corrosion all over. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is just kind of take and clean up the garbage that's around it here. And try and carefully clean it up best I can. Definitely strongly recommend gloves for this. You choose to be as safe as you want to be. It's not up to me to be your papa. Then we have baking soda. Just gonna dump a bunch of that kind of all over. And the baking soda, you can probably figure out what's coming up next. I did the same thing. This is how I clean my batteries most of the time. I'm going to put some on top of the battery. Speaking of that, you might not be able to see that. I'm just going to finish off everything. Well, no, I need to keep some of this for when I take the battery out, because I'm sure there's going to be a problem underneath as well. Now, when I first started storing this, I had it close to a plug-in. And I actually put this little Harbor Freight battery charger thing, connected it to it, and I could plug it in, and I was real diligent at first, thinking I was going to get right back on it, and there's the problem right there. And I think it catches more than just people like me, but life gets away from you and you start forgetting things, and your projects get pushed further and further out into the field or whatnot, and it just gets kind of forgotten about. And that's kind of what happened here. I just kind of forgot about it and didn't think about it, kept thinking I was going to get back to it and didn't. So I'm going to just throw some water around here. I just got a little bucket, or a little cocoa can actually, with some water. And this stuff is old baking soda that I had laying around, so it's not actually fuzzing up as much as I would have liked it to. So I'm going to kind of rub this in. I might actually go get, there we go, now it's starting to fuzz. Go get a brush and brush this a little bit. And when I get further into this, hopefully there's no holes in the floor. There wasn't when I shut it down last time. I will be taking everything out of here and cleaning this floor up really good, and probably painting it before I, put some rust inhibitor and all that stuff all over it. Probably should have some glasses on. Yet again, not your papa. This is if you try something I do and you hurt yourself, I'm not responsible situation. I can already tell right here, and this is kind of for me when I go to put a battery back in, I need to hook these back up. They've corroded. I'm going to have to go through, and I might even have to replace these wires clear up in here because they're green and corroded, because I should not have left this on here. I don't know if that's a 10mm and this is a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to have to get a different wrench for the 10mm there. So that's probably an original, and this is probably something somebody replaced at some point. Be careful here. If this was live, which there's no juice in this thing anyway, and I've done it before, you come back like this with your wrench. That's why they have wrenches for this that have like plastic coating. but you hit it here and this is metal. It'll ground out and give you a good spark. I've done it before. So be careful when you're working on Volkswagen batteries. Absolute worst place to put a battery in the history of batteries. Alright, well YouTube, I got lucky. No big rust holes. Now you could, if I had any more, that's probably what I would do, is grab some baking soda and just put baking soda all over the floor here and just leave it on there. Right now I'm going to go ahead and use some of this. It's a detector, so it'll turn pink if there's any more there, and it also neutralizes it. So yet again, baking soda and water basically does the same thing. Just baking soda by itself will neutralize it as well, fairly decent. You usually need a little bit of water, but you wouldn't have to mix it as thick as like I did for cleaning. But I'm going to go ahead and spray that a little bit all over the floor. I am going to put a little bit up in here too, because I did have some a little bit of stuff up in there too. So I'm going to let that sit, do its thing. Come back a little later and clean that up, but I don't think you need to watch that. Just a little preventative maintenance would have saved me a whole lot of work, and would have saved this Volkswagen from being rusted a little longer, because now I'm going to have to go, which I was planning on putting a rust inhibitor all over this floor anyway when I go to paint it and all that. But yet again, this video is more just for I guess what not to do. You could almost call it a Sam being stupid, because I know better, but most people know better than leaving a battery in a car, but it happens. But if it does, and you hopefully will get lucky like I did, not have a ton of rust, but you still want to do as much as you can to prevent it from getting any worse once you do figure it out. So this is Sam, jack of all, master none. You all have a good one.